Hi, welcome to the RAMS Agents Production Coaching Call. The goal of the call is to help you sell more homes by maximizing your repeat and referral closings by implementing the Referral Agent Mastery System into your practice. My name is Mike Cerrone, co-founder of RAMS Agents, and my co-host is Angela Newman, a master trainer of RAMS Agents. Hello, Angela. How are you today?
Hello, good morning. I'm doing great, everybody.
Awesome, awesome. Well, it's going to be a good call. Let's go ahead and jump in. Who's got some good news they'd like to share?
I've got some good news. Our listing that I was telling you about going live on Thursday had great response in the market. Sold it on Friday conditionally at 99% of asking price, so 0.989% of asking. Our clients are very excited. It was exactly, in fact, the number that they were hoping to get, which fantastic news for our clients and for us. And actually, we talked about continuing with an open house. So I was kind of on the fence. Normally when we go live with a listing, we do an open house Saturday and Sunday. And when we do that, I go to all the neighbors, introduce myself, invite them all personally, and give them some information on the home. And I thought, well, I talked to Kathleen and Michelle, our clients, and said, I've already gone to all the neighbors and said hello. I really would like to, stay the course with the open house. And they said, absolutely, do it. So one of the things that we do at open houses that I've found is great is actually I go to the house, bring chocolate chip cookies. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I baked the cookies, had all of the neighbors come by, had a great response. And then from that open house, had another agent call me and say, hey, we would like to present an offer. And I said, listen, Clarence, I'm really sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we have a conditional offer. And he said immediately, okay, if that doesn't go through, if it doesn't close, doesn't go firm, please notify me right away. So it's kind of an added comfort. Now we have another buyer right in the chute. So again, our clients are very pleased with that. And yeah, it was just kind of one of those listings, tic-tac-toe, boom. So we've got our deposit check-in, inspection scheduled, and everything set the way I would anticipate and hope for. So great news there.
Congrats, Steve.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate it, Tristan.
Yeah, that is fantastic news. Congratulations, Steve. And let me ask: do you guys typically do backup offers? Do you call them backup offers? Like somebody could put an offer in second position behind your first?
Great question. And, I would encourage buyers to do that. It's pretty uncommon in our market right now, frankly. Yeah, I mean, in a less expedient market, let's say, which is kind of counterintuitive, I would expect to see that. But right now, we rarely see backup offers.
Okay. See, that's a great reason for continuing after you receive the first offer on the first day that it came out. Say you wanted to do that open house, you say, hey, look, I'm looking for backup offers. And you let everybody know, hey, it's already under contract, but we are looking for backup offers. If you're interested, welcome, come on in. That's what you're saying to buyers and their agents. And then as you wisely were thinking, I'm really wanting to reach out to this entire neighborhood and let them know of the amazing job we just did to get this property under contract so quickly, in case they may be interested in selling their property either now or in the near future. They just saw how we executed in a strong, sharp way. So yeah, I think that's a great idea. Do you do anything with you've got just listed, just sold, people are usually familiar with. Have you ever done anything with just under contract or just pending, depending on how people talk in your area?
We do that on our socials. And, like with the objective of attracting, clients and demonstrating how we do things and how we can effectively, manage a listing and promote a listing. I actually had several people. One lady in particular, little German lady, said to me, I have no plans on moving, but when I do, I want you. So I was like, hey, that's dope. I will take that. And in addition to, kind of nurturing those future clients, we have like for our team Swagger, a preferred contractor list that, it's like a really nice little piece of media with all of our go-to guys. And I was able to actually hand that out multiple times to folks as well. Actually, this particular home has what's called poly B piping. It's a kind of piping. I don't know if you're familiar with it in your markets, but in Calgary, that was between kind of late 80s, mid 90s, pretty prevalently used, and it's somewhat of a matter of concern for buyers. So we had just done a poly B replacement, and that was a great key point of conversation with prospective clients that were coming through. They were all curious about it, and then to have that preferred contractor list on the ready to go and be willing to share it, which is another, I think key factor. It really nurtured some great initial client introductions. So we're really stoked about that. But yeah, on our social medias, we focus on conditionally sold one day, that's where we really blast those stats.
Yeah, and the people that are going to be the most interested in that are your neighbors, the neighbors of that property. That's right there in their neighborhood. Obviously, you're doing a great job getting that out to your sphere, your PCSOI. That's sharp. That's excellent. A question for you. When that little old lady said, hey, I'm not planning on selling right now, but if I ever did, I'd use you. Did you take the next step and say, hey, I'd love to stay in touch with you for whenever that day may come, and capture her contact information so that you can follow up with her?
I've actually already emailed her twice, and she's reciprocated with the email. So yeah, it was, and she was really particular in that she has a very, very particular name. So it's Hannah Laura. And even saying it in English is a little bit strange. So I really made a point of saying, oh, that's such a particular name. I want to make sure I write that down right. And I wrote it down. And then further to that, we got her email and just said, okay, well, let me double check that I've got this right in your email. And I didn't want it to be like salesy slickster kind of. It was more just like genuinely, I want to get you this information. I want to keep you posted when it closes. And she was very, very open to, yeah, as I say, we've already corresponded twice. So pretty stoked.
That is fantastic. Excellent work. Good job. And that's you're expanding your PCSOI in that way. Very, very sharp. Good job, Steve. That was great news, and congratulations. Keep rocking.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, cool. Who else has some good news they'd like to share?
I'll go ahead and share. I also I guess that we both had a new listing going up last week, and ours went up on Friday. We had one showing on Friday. They made an offer Saturday morning, and the seller accepted it. And so we are pending with inspections during the inspection period. So yeah.
Congratulations, Angela. That's
nice work, Angela.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where'd that business come from?
That came from my PCSOI, my center of influence.
Yeah. Yeah. And now, had you reached out to them recently?
I had. So I stay in contact with them regularly. So this is actually my close friend's son. And we have talked off and on a little bit lately because he was considering getting into real estate. And so we talked about him getting his license and what that would look like and how he could use his license with his current career. And so we had been staying in touch, and yeah, so.
That's great news, and a good point. A lot of people get scared when somebody says, hey, I want to get in the business. And you're like, oh, great. Well, there goes my client. Or some agents will shut down at that point. You were very open offered him assistance, and look at that. When it came time for him to actually make a purchase, he turned to you.
Exactly. Yes. And he said that and so interestingly, this house is in Oklahoma City, which is about 2 hours away from Tulsa, and I'm in Houston. So again, it's building that trust, that relationship. And he said, yeah, when I decided to sell the house, I definitely wanted to talk to you about selling it.
That is really cool. So, and I'm sorry, he was selling the house, not buying a house, but that's really neat. You're working in two markets in two different states because some people are starting to do that, uh, but it's long distance, right? So you're able to go to one satellite. You're in Houston. You typically go to Tulsa, and now you actually jump to a second satellite, which is Oklahoma City, which is even further away, but you've learned how to do it in Tulsa. So I assume it was a lot easier than to do it in Oklahoma City, and maybe easy to do in another market next time. Is that kind of your mind expanding that way?
Yes, and I actually had done a seller presentation last year with another PCSOI in the Oklahoma City area. So I'd already established a relationship with an agent within my company there. So it was pretty easy for us to connect and just come up with a game plan.
So are you co-brokering with that other agent? Is that how you're doing that, like the commercial people do?
Yes.
Yeah. See, that makes sense. So that's your model that you're using. You have boots on the ground, you have the relationship, they have the market knowledge, and you're combining to make a deal work.
Exactly. Yes.
And then you just figured out some kind of split structure between you based on whatever your decisions were. Um, did you formalize that agreement, or was it an oral agreement that, hey, we're going to split the commission X, Y, and Z when it comes in?
First it was oral, and then I have a form that sent over and had her sign.
Was the form a referral agreement, or was it a co-broke agreement?
It was a referral agreement.
All right, cool. So if anybody hears this and they're thinking that now they got that idea, that little seed planted in their head. Thank you for sharing, Angela. That's fantastic. Um, good news on that, and congratulations. Hope it goes well. Keep rocking.
Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you.
Steve, I think just for clarity, since this is our production call and we talk about PCSOI, and people may not know because they weren't on our prior call, your business that you were just talking about earlier, where did it come from? Was that PCSOI, past clients and sphere of influence?
It was SOI. So yeah, just actually a connection, a family member connection. So and interesting. We've talked about this, Mike, in our personal coaching calls, but that's been one area that's been difficult for Monica and I. Interestingly, family. It's been a journey of and you really talked about this with us the other day. Is that there can be some apprehension there. Monty and I have been in the business. This is our 5th year. And I think, and after we talked about it, I reflected on it a little more. And I think it is just a matter, they want to see that you are capable agents, that you can get it done. It's a big investment. It's largest, arguably, single purchase and investment that folks make. And it was a real win for us to touch down with a family sale that just, we nailed it. So yeah, it was a direct family member, actually cousin, so second cousin rather.
That is fantastic. It is a home run. Let's assume that everything closes up well. After it closes up well, you definitely want to spread that good news out to all the rest of the family, right? That you took care of this transaction and it happened within 48 hours. You got it under contract, closed, and sold for 99% of the asking price. All these good features to show that social proof to your family that you are in the business and have been in the business a long time, and you get the job done.
Absolutely, that will be something we will focus on doing, just kind of, and a little bit warmer, I guess I would say. It gives us an immediate warm touch with all of those family members. And I know that Kathleen and Michelle have already been, speaking with their wing or their branch of the family, because I'm getting messages actually, from my cousin TJ and cousin Jen, and they were like, "Wow, way to go! So happy for you guys!" So that's already organically happening, which is another kind of warm fuzzy for Monty and I.
That is excellent, Steve. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I love it. All right, who else has some good news for us?
I was just thinking, we did have a showing of my listing over the weekend and had some good feedback from that. And I met with I didn't meet with the sellers entirely, but I met with one of the sellers yesterday at the house, and we looked at several things that they're going to be making some repairs and upgrades on. So that's good. We're going to be fixing up the property a little bit more.
That's good. So you're taking some feedback from showings and you're getting that to your seller. And typically what you're looking for with the feedback is, one, hey, you're right on the money. Everything's great. Just keep going. The other thing that's more common is you got to make an adjustment. You have to make an adjustment, either price or condition. You've made an adjustment in price. Now you're looking at making an adjustment in the condition. And those are usually good things, right? It's something that you can talk about, promote, advertise, try to regenerate interest. If you have any showings that have happened in the past, say, hey, look what we just did. You go back to those agents because they were looking in that area. That's a good thing. So I'm glad to hear that, because I was starting to think you're getting a little long in the tooth on that listing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Are we sitting over 90 days? Are we coming up
Yeah,
on 120 yet?
No, we're over 90, like 100 or so now. Yeah.
We're also moving into the stronger part of the market, so this is not bad. You're able to start repositioning the property to make sure that it's going to catch as more and more buyers come in. So you're making these physical adjustments. Also, you may want to make sure that you're reevaluating the price, because remember, price solves everything.
Yeah, right.
Just remember that price solves everything. And the way I always shared that with a seller was, I like extremes when I'm giving examples. So if you tell them, I think if I recall, you started at 300, now you're at 275, right?
That's right.
All right. And so the next price point is probably 250, or some type of incentive to take a half step, like you offer a $5,000 or $10,000 incentive to the buyer. You're taking little half steps instead of going to a full step. So those are some of the things that you should start chatting with the seller about, positioning them, just kind of throwing out there as those options as you do your weekly reports, and you're giving the options at the bottom. You're going to start wanting to work those into the options. Obviously, the seller always makes the decision. You don't want to be making that decision, but you want to make sure that it's available for them. And with that, I know you're doing that weekly report, so you're showing them comps, if there's anything else that's going on out there. I'll go one more level here, and that is, and by the way, thanks for all these the opportunities for me to babble and share some information. But
hey, it's good stuff.
This is a great reminder of positioning on day one, when you're at the listing presentation, that you're describing to them all kinds of information you kind of drop out there. They're catching some of it or not. But this idea of, hey, as we go out into the market will respond to us, and we have to listen to what the market says. If we get X or X and no offers, then we have to make an adjustment. So the X is, hey, if we get 10 showings but no offers, we probably need to make an adjustment, right? And then I also like to tie that into time. So the other thing is, if we get 10 showings, or we've been on the market for 21 days and we don't get any offers, then we probably need to make an adjustment. And I'm basing my 21 days on the fact that the average time in our market is 21 days or whatever it happens to be. And so you can change that time element based on what your market is doing, speeding up or slowing down, but you're probably going to be having this number of showings. We used to have a chart in the old days. We do it. Some of the old timers would probably think there was a target. We'd use a target, an actual like a bullseye target, and we'd show that the further out you are in the target, the fewer showings you're going to get, and we're just off the target. We're not there yet. We have to make an adjustment to move into it. So my point is, if you prep everybody at the beginning and that listing presentation, then it's not a big surprise when you say, "Oh, geez, we must be at the outer rim. We must be just missing. We need to make an adjustment to get in." They're like, "Oh yeah, I remember you said that." So does that make sense?
That's good. Yeah, I like the visual of the target, and I also like the like kind of, even if I knew it or didn't know it, but our agreed upon day one marketing plan, and then, oh, we must have just been on the outer edge of this, so let's see if we can hone in. I like that and get to the target.
Excellent, Blake. And the other thing to keep in mind, the reason you never, ever, ever set the price is it's not your fault as the agent, whether it worked or not. You cannot take that on your shoulders. Agents make that mistake all the time. You do not set the price. The seller sets the price. You help them look at the parameters and understand what it is, understand the market brackets, where they're at and everything in the market, and they have to decide with their timing. But with that, when it comes to these adjustments, when you have a seller that's really resisting, you have to set it up as though it's the market that's responding to them. It's the market that's saying the price is wrong. You're not saying the price is wrong. You're saying, "Hey, I'm on your team," right? So, Blake, we've talked about that, where you don't want to be opposed to your client, right? You don't want to be here and they're here and you guys are going at each other. And you showed me really well the other day, you picked up on that you want to get on the other side of the table and be looking the same direction as they are, right? And so this is the same idea. It's not you versus them on price. It's you and they versus the market. Okay. So hopefully that's a visual that you'll remember as you're talking to them. The market is the market's the black hat in this old Western, right? The market is the one saying, no, you didn't quite get we don't like your price. And so we don't like the condition. You can't change the location. So it's one of the other two. Anyway, hopefully that helps a little bit, maybe on this one, but definitely in the future as you're picking up these pieces. Does anybody else have anything else to add for Blake?
So when a listing starts becoming stagnant, one thing that I like to go in is just go into the listing itself and see, is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything that could be better or done differently? So the fact that you guys have already talked about doing some repairs and a little bit of changes, do they live in the house or is it empty?
No, it is empty. And in fact, part of what I was doing yesterday was updating some photographs of where some carpet's been removed to expose the hardwood floors. So that's
what I was going to suggest is in a listing, people get used to it that, when a listing first goes on the market, all those buyers that have been waiting for a new listing to come on the market, they see it and they're like, oh, excited, and you miss the opportunity the longer it stays on the market. So new photos is a great technique to kind of put it in a new light. Even outdoor, your first main photo, shooting a new one from a different angle, or if you've done anything outside, like any flower beds or landscaping, or a change in the season, like if it went in the market in the fall, maybe you shoot new outdoor photos in the spring, or just something different to those buyers that see it. Then they're going to say, oh, what was that? I don't recognize that one. And it's kind of, you can do a trifecta with a new price, new photos, if it expires, a new listing, or dropping the price a little bit. So it pops back up into everybody's feed somehow. But yeah, that's.
Thank you. Yeah, very good idea. I love, I mean, that's a very simple one to go take new photos and specifically that lead photo, the number one photo of the exterior from a different angle. I really like that. Is it won't be the best angle because we obviously used that the first time, but we'll do this a different way.
Mhm.
Blake,
And
do you mind if I ask a quick question? And I
Sure.
don't know how common this is, with the photo and measurement company you use, but have you done any virtual staging? And what are your thoughts on that? And maybe anyone else could comment on the efficacy of their attempts with virtual staging. The
Sure.
question being, we had a listing like that, and the virtual staging that we implemented was instrumental. It really, because it was vacant and a little bit older. And when they virtually staged it, it modernized the main living room in such a way that that was actually key in bringing the final buyer to us, because it gave them a visualization. So just a quick question on that. Have you given that a try, or do you have
Yeah,
access to that?
that's very interesting, Steve, and I appreciate you telling me that story. We launched this um, listing with actual photos and virtual staging. Well, the sellers there is an elderly lady involved, and she's the primary owner, and she was upset with the virtual staging. She said, people will think that's my furniture. And she didn't like that. So, so it was definitely get away from that, Blake. That is a bad idea. Um, but I could revisit that now. There's no harm in me revisiting, say, hey, we'll try some different furniture, see what you think.
Interesting. I appreciate that, Blake.
Yeah.
and putting a little disclosure at the bottom of the photo, uh,
That's true.
virtually staged interior or something like that.
This furniture isn't
I'm
actually here.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, like virtually staged. Just people are used to that now, and but I love the virtually staged the that tool to use for those vacant older houses, especially vacant newer houses even. It's just a neat tool that you can use.
Yeah, that's great. No, I'm glad to bring that back around because it was definitely a negative at first, and then
Well, it's
yeah,
shocking because it's like, well, that's not my furniture. That's not gonna look like my house anymore.
I know, and she had lived there a long time, so she's worried about what the neighbors think, I guess. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Good job, everybody. That was great advice, Blake. I hope you have a lot to play with now. Keep going. You're learning a lot on this listing. Be grateful for it. Obviously, it's fun when it sells in a day, but you're probably learning a lot more by the fact that it's been stretched out and it's taking more time.
Oh yeah,
You're having to bring your skills and talents into this situation, and you'll be able to utilize these in the future on the next listing to speed that up by sharing the stories that are coming out of this experience with that new homeowner.
very true, very true.
Yeah. All right. Who else has some good news for us? Tristan, you got any good news you'd like to share?
Um, I was speaking with a friend yesterday, and he was asking, like, how's things going with your business? He owns a business as well. And I said, well, so far this year, everybody has done a deal so far. So I would say that's some good news. I would
That's great news. So you mean in your brokerage, all the agents have at least done one deal?
this year, yeah.
Wow, that's great. That's a nice quick start to the year. Congratulations. What do you attribute that to?
I would say that they just been coachable. So yeah. Um y- yeah, I've been encouraging them to talk to their sphere and their people that their parents know, like because everybody except for me, it's their first, not their first year in the business, but the first year, I guess, starting a new year as licensed. And everything that I'm learning here or that you're doing with us, Mike, I'm just trying to now do the same with my team. So in the sense of them prioritizing their past clients, their sphere of influence and being in touch, they've started to get some referrals and even from door knocking, they're getting business. So it's just I would say that's why we're off maybe to a good start.
That's fantastic, Tristan. You got a nice young team there that you're working with as far as their time in the business. Um, the thing to do at this point, just a little recommendation, reinforcement, reinforcement. Keep reinforcing the good experience that they've had. Bring it back up. Do a little celebration dance, in the meetings. Celebrate their accomplishments so they feel good. Ask them, how did that come about? What did you do to make that happen? You may already know the answer. They've already probably told you the answer. The reason you're bringing it up is you're reinforcing what happened for them. So they go, yeah, oh yeah, that is why that happened. Yeah, I got to go do more of that. Because remember, just all of us, we get scattered, right? I mean, it doesn't matter how long you're in the business. You're going to get scattered at points where you're just going in 7 different directions or your mind is wandering all over the place. Well, that's happening to your people too. And so you've got to help refocus them in on what's important. Um, so Tristan, I'm really excited to hear that you're taking some of the lessons we have here and sharing with them. The way that you make sure that someone has it is you ask them to repeat something you've just shared with them. You ask them to tell you about one of their experiences. Same thing you do with clients, by the way. These are all just relationship tools. You just ask questions and then listen, right? All right, good. Good job, Tristan. I'm excited to hear that. And you obviously want that to repeat, right? You want them to do another transaction. Let's go. The time to have your second transaction is while you're doing your first one, right? The iron's hot, you're feeling good, your confidence is up, your excitement is great. That's when you really want them to engage. They're going to be thinking, hey, I want to track this transaction all the way to closing. You're like, yep, you need to do that. However, jump in and call 3 more people today, right? And tell them, look, your energy is up, your confidence is up. Get out there and tell some more people what's going on.
Okay.
Good job. That was excellent. Great news. Great news today to start off. All right, real quick, just a quick announcement. I just want to make it for anybody. Well, there's a few of us that are with Epic Realty, and Angela brought up to me the other day that Epic is actually going to sell some of their shares. Just openly sell them if you want to buy them for a very limited time. If you're interested in that, just look at Epic Cloud on the first page, and that's just something for you to have. It's kind of internal. It's only for agents that are already with the company, but it's something to think about. It's a private company right now. It's not publicly traded, and it's kind of an interesting opportunity. By the way, I'll just say I'm not pitching the stock. It's probably going to go to zero and be worthless. But if you like to roll the dice and you want to take a flyer, I wouldn't bet the house on it, by the way, but if you want to take a little flyer, might not be a bad idea to just kind of check it out. All right. So that's done. How about this? We got Valentine's Day coming up. Valentine's Day in a couple days. Who's going to do a Valentine's Day event? Anybody hopping in on that one? All right. Tell me what you're doing. How's it going? And then do you have any questions or need any help? Go for it.
Ours is actually a business to business event. So the lawyer that we work with has an annual big, like full client meeting, with all clients. So they've been such a great business partner to us. This year we're doing it in conjunction insofar as it started as a joke. Clint Clark, our lawyer, said to Monty, "Hey, we're doing our deal, our big client appreciation on Valentine's," and Monica was like, "Hey, that sounds like a great date for Steve. I've been thinking of something to do." So it went from a joke to now kind of doing a integrated business to business thing. So I was honestly initially a little bit opposed to it insofar as I didn't want to rain on Clark and Clark's parade. It's a big day for them, but they were really open and receptive to it. So it just kind of gives us an idea to have some of our business partners and clients come and attend the thing as well. Just a dinner or hors d'oeuvres and cocktails at a restaurant here in the city.
I want a little bit of clarity on that, Steve. I'm trying to understand to make sure I get it. So you said attorney. When you say attorney, is this an attorney who is we're doing title work for you, or in your area are attorneys representing the buyers and sellers? They have to be part of the contract writing. What's the role of the attorney in your world?
Great question. So in our market, or in Alberta rather, so the RECA, Real Estate Commission of Alberta, just based on the structure of closing land titles is one of the key factors. So Alberta Land Titles transfers all titles from current owners to new owners. We do also have dower right in Alberta, which is essentially an assurance legally built into our system where so the three-prong factors are if there's only one person on title, you are married, and there has been literally one night stayed in that home, which then it defines it as a matrimonial home. You cannot sell that property without a dower release. So the spouse has to say, yes, I'm fine with this. And then there's a legal process that goes with that. So lawyers or legal representation are very key to our closings in our market. So each buyer and seller is represented by a legal team or a lawyer. Often these are specialists in real estate, which our guy Clark and Clark is a specialist. He was actually came in the 80s. It was his dad's firm, so he has a wealth of knowledge. He has been an ace in the hole for us, like I can't even tell you. We also have pretty strict regulations on real property reports, or RPRs. I'm sure that's probably similar to what you guys do. The city of Calgary is very in depth with regards to encroachments. So in 2020, they have a whole new encroachments advisory department. So if there are any encroachments in that RPR, it has to go through a legal process in conjunction with the city to have relaxations issued or the encroachment rectified. So they're also very instrumental in that. And finally, with the lawyers, the closing costs related to taxation, any outstanding costs with the property, all of that is consolidated and then broken up to the date of closing. So the sellers will pay up to this specific period with all costs associated to taxation and anything at all, homeowners association fees, and then from that day forward, the new buyer takes over. So they just allocate funds right up to the date of closing. And if we run into anything day before, client's not working, they will drop the gloves. It's instead of the agents scrapping it out, like we'll begin with trying to resolve it between the agents. But if we have a hard nose or uncooperative agent on the other side, that's when we'll say, hey, we're going to leave this with the lawyers and they'll work it out. And they get pretty down on the mat sometimes with things like appliances not working.
So each person, the buyer and the seller, each party has their own lawyer?
Correct.
Okay, so they're acting like an additional representative. You're a representative as the agent. You also have an attorney as a representative for each of the parties, and they can battle it out. Is there a third entity that's handling the closing, or is it the attorneys handling the closing, making sure the title work is correct, the ownership and everything? Are the attorneys doing that, or is there a third party, a closing entity that's handling that?
No, it is the attorneys that handle all of the closing in our market.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. So like in my market, we don't have to have attorneys involved in any of the transaction at all. Every state or every area is different, and it's good to know your local areas. I could see how you're going to do a great job explaining that to a client, either the buyer or the seller, what's happening. The reason I was asking about the attorney question is to try to understand what this party was all about. For instance, this is one of your vendors that you're working with to handle the result, and you're sharing clients. And so you could have a giant client party. I get the picture now. I didn't know if it was a referral partner. So for instance, you could go out to probate attorneys, state attorneys, divorce attorneys, we're talking attorneys, but all these different kinds of attorneys that bump into people that need to sell real estate, and they refer business to you to help them. I didn't know if it was that kind of a relationship or what you just described. It's a closing attorney, so it's somebody that you're working with to get to the successful closing. Will you be inviting your people, your PCSOI, to this party, or is this just a party between the vendors?
Great question. Yeah, no, we'll be inviting our folks that we've done transactions with. I looked at it, and this was part of my opposition to it initially, is that who's going to come on Valentine's Day? But the other side of that is who's going to come on Valentine's Day? And it's going to twofold give us that touch, say, hey, come on out if you have no plans for Valentine's Day, kind of like the position I was in. And then additionally, it's going to be attracting those folks that are like, heck yeah, I would like to see this and do this. And we'll have other, agents in our brokerage that are there. We'll have, other contractors that we work with there. And we have a great referral business with Clark & Clark. So a lot of these clients will have worked with Clark & Clark. Like one of our first points of business is to highlight to prospective buyers and sellers that, we've partnered with a core group of businesses that we work with personally, and that we can comfortably refer you to. Clark & Clark is one of those key businesses. So a lot of the time when folks are doing a transaction, they're thrilled that you have a lawyer that not only you can refer to, but you can say, we have done all of our personal business with Clark & Clark. And one of the first things we do when the time is right is send an introductory email between Clint, so the primary business partner, and the client. And then we introduce their group. So they have a core group of lawyers, and then Clint hands it off to one of their guys. And it just is an immediate, very organic connection. So these people really know either Clint or their whole team already. So it's more like, hey, you may not have met Max from Clark & Clark. This is Max. He was, in our initial introductory email. And then there's just kind of that, immediate connection that I'm hoping we'll see this party.
This is awesome. So you're basically sharing your team. This is your team. We think a lot
Absolutely.
A team being underneath us, employees, but we also have this team of people that we're working with to get this transaction done. Mortgage people, title people, lawyers, inspectors, appraisers, all kinds of people that we're bringing together. And by the way, I always presented this to my seller as it was an orchestra and I was the conductor. Okay.
I like that.
All these people together, and they're going to do their own part, but I'm going to make sure it all comes together properly. So we get you to your successful, whatever it's going to be, buyer and seller to the closing, but they're going for different objectives. Let me share something here with you, Steve. We're on production call, and we want to generate more business. You talked about this event and wanting to get everybody to the event. And when people do event marketing, that's their objective. But we happen to also know an additional concept that we'd like to share with you right now. And I'm going to ask Blake to share this one. Blake, what is the most powerful part of an event?
The invitation. That's an easy one.
Good job, Blake. The invitation is the most valuable part of the event. It's actually not having people at the event. That's good. It's awesome. Nothing better than face to face. Absolutely. But that's going to be a very small part of your group, right? If you invite 100 people, maybe 10 people will show up and it'll be a success. And what Blake's telling you is the power was inviting all 100. The 90 people that didn't show up, they got touched. They got touched right here in the heart by you because you said, hey, look, you're so important to me. I want to invite you into my inner circle, into my world. And that touch is the power. That touch is the power. It went to all 100 people that you invited. Now, the 10 that show up, you'll be able to connect with them even closer, right? That's fantastic. That's like sprinkles on top of the sundae, right? That's just extra bonuses. But the sundae, in this analogy, the sundae was the invitation, right? That's the power. And what you'll learn with event marketing is you want to have multiple events throughout the year. We recommend at least 4 now, quarterly events. And so you're able to call up or email or text or contact your people and just invite them to an event. It's so much easier to invite someone to say, hey, come over and check out our Valentine's Day celebration we're doing with our vendor over here, with our team, rather than calling them up and saying, hey, you going to move this year? Hey, when are you going to move? Are you going to move in the next 30 days? Come on, you want to move, don't you? They are not going to answer any more of those calls the next time you dial. So, but if you call up and say, hey, just wanted to let you know we're having a little celebration over here. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Are you interested? Yes, no, cool. It's a win either way. It's a giant win because it was a touch. Does that make sense?
Makes complete sense. Yeah, no, I appreciate that insight.
You betcha. Yeah. It took me a while to get my mind around it. So I think that's why I emphasize it so much. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. And good. Anybody else doing a Valentine's Day celebration event? And how's it going?
You know I'm going to do one, but I am way behind. So I was making my notes here. I'm going to have to go all digital on this as opposed to I had intended to mail out some direct mail as well, but that's to my people, but I'm not going to do that. It's going to have to be social media, text, phone calls, and email. But that's fine. I can still pull that off. And I'll still get it with my deadline on Valentine's Day. And then we'll do our drawing probably Monday.
So we're sitting here on the 11th. Valentine's Day is on the 14th. You got 3 days to do a big push, plus the day of Valentine's Day. So really, it's 11, 12, 13, 14. You actually have 4 days.
Yeah.
You got plenty of time, as you said, to do it digitally, especially with the knowledge that it's the touch.
Yeah, right. It's the touch.
Invitation. Yeah. And so I'm sure what you'll do, Blake, is you'll prioritize your best referrers, right? Your best people that have done the most business with you, and make sure they get the touch first.
Yeah.
They've already proven they will support your business. And then you'll just roll down the list as far as you can go. Is that your plan?
Yeah, that plus all the people that participated last year. That's the other thing. Like you said, I'm behind the 8 ball, but it's not the end of the world. I've done this before. So I can go back.
Say you have you have assets already in place that you can go in and repeat and copy and you have already a plan in place that you did last year. So
that's right. Angela's right. So I already have a plan. I've already got rules. The state of Tennessee requires me to, anybody that I publish this to, that I have to have full, like all the details are on the face of the offer. So, but I've already got that. I've got my rules and everything. So I can definitely roll out with it.
Are you calling these people, Blake?
I'm going to, I'm not going to be able to call everybody that I would like to probably. But in many cases, These are folks that I talk to on a regular basis. So a text will be okay. I'm even thinking, like Mike said, even on Valentine's Day, I can be texting somebody or calling them and saying, "Hey, just wanted to wish you a happy Valentine's Day, and I'm doing this giveaway if you want to get in on it." Um, so I think that'll be it'll be several methods. Tristan, you're right. The best is going to be an actual phone call, and I will definitely call those that I can. But I will also put it out on social media so that there's a couple of touches, hopefully, with some folks. And then by text, if I don't reach somebody by phone, I certainly will reach them by text. I'll have a text ready to go that I can just copy and paste. I mean, I'm only going to probably contact 100 120, 150 people total that I'm trying to contact. So that should be doable.
Perfect. Couple quick thoughts. One, for anyone who gets in this position where you're kind of behind the eight ball and it's a short time frame, think about the time of year. We're sitting here, things are about to get very exciting in our market. It is worth it to do it now, even if it's a shorter
Oh, yeah.
version or a quicker version and you can't even get out to everybody. Still worth it. Don't wait or delay. Go ahead and go for it. One final thought there is you're under the gun because of the timeline, or you may feel under the gun or pressure. You got to push that away. And remember, when you're making these contacts, you got to be friendly and happy and excited, and don't get into too much of a stress mode because that'll come through in your conversation with them. You got to be, hey, just want to make sure everything's going well. How are you doing? What's happening in your world? Don't be afraid to get into a conversation. Better to have one or two deep conversations and only get halfway through your list than to be rushing so fast that you don't make any true connection.
Very good point. Always making the goal the opportunity to have a deeper conversation. That's very good. Yeah. You know, when we were talking about the power in the invitation, it reminds me of a general manager I used to work with at a television station, and we would have a lot of tickets to events and concerts and sports events and stuff. And his motto was always, an ask is almost as good as a give. And so it was the same concept. He said it's pretty much as good as a give. If you just call somebody and say, hey, I've got tickets to whatever, do you want to go?
Even better, like when you have the tickets, you got 2 tickets to the sports game.
Yeah,
If you call the first person takes them, that's wonderful, but it's better if it's the 10th person because
that's
now 10 people know you cared about him, right? You were
that's
reaching
true.
out, you were making an offer. Again, it is the invitation. That's great when the ask is as good as the give. All right, let's do this. We're wrapping up on last few minutes that we have. Does anybody have any burning questions about production that we haven't addressed yet and you want us to talk about or think about or share?
I had something quickly. I remember before you were saying if I had a database of 10,000 people and I was marketing them to consistently, that would be 100 deals in the year. And I was wondering, does that same percentage hold true to a smaller amount?
Yeah, I think I understand what you're asking. And so you tell me if I'm on the right track, Tristan. So the idea is I gave multiple examples in the past of people with large databases. They were loose databases, right? They were very loose connection in the, you just barely know the person. If you have a large group of those people, 10,000, statistically, you'll have about 100 closings per year as long as you're doing everything else right. So a 10,000 group database should result in 100 closings per year. Correct. Now, let's compare that to a PCSOI. Our true PCSOI, past clients and sphere of influence, friends, family, past clients, acquaintances. Remember, in that, to get on that special list, they have to know you and you have to know them. And we do the PCSOI test, which is imagine yourself walking down the lane of a grocery store. They're walking up the other direction. You look up and see each other. Can you strike up a conversation? Would you recognize one another? If they can meet that test, they are now in a special group of people, which is even smaller than that more general, loose kind of relationship, right? So if they're in that tighter group in the PCSOI, the numbers change because the best of the best, I'll just remind you, the best of the best solo agents, all right, people who are closing 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 units or more a year as a solo agent, they tend to do it with their PCSOI group. And their conversions, when I was out there analyzing them, are 20% plus. Some of them are even above 20. But there were a whole ton that kind of congregate right around that 20% mark of their list is repeating and referring per year. It's like if you're right on your game, that's the ultimate. So if we use that number and you want to have 100 closings, you only need a list of 500 people in your PCSOI to hit the 100 closings. So that's the difference between a list of 10,000 people. You kind of have some, maybe they kind of heard of your name, or I don't know, you have some kind of touch point, right? Maybe now or in the far past, versus somebody you're contacting all throughout the year, you're inviting to events, they know you, you know them. This special PCSOI group only needs to be 500 people to have that same 100 closings. You're saying, well, why? You know, there's only a certain percentage of them are going to move every year. That's right. But that 500, they're not just going to repeat with you. They're going to refer you, right? They're going to send their friends and family to you. So you're not only tapping into your sphere, that group, you're tapping into their spheres, right? It's working its way out because there's going to be a group in that 500 become advocates for you, that they start sending you business. Has anybody had that happen yet, where somebody just start sending you business or sending you referrals and you're like, wow, that's amazing. What are they doing? Well, it's because first of all, they're that kind of person. They're an ambassador. Second, it's just their personality. Secondly, they recognize you're a great person. You're doing a great job. Maybe you did it for them or their friends, and they start sending you business. You'll have top agents. This is one final wild card. You'll have top agents who say, look, this person has never done a deal with me. They've never actually done personal business with me, but they've sent me 20, 30 closings over the years, right? Those are these ambassadors. They like you, they refer to you, they want to send stuff to you. So that's why the list of 500 can be more, just as productive as a list of 10,000. Does that help, Tristan, to answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah, and so Tristan, as you're doing the door knocking, you're adding people to your 10,000 list, right? You're adding people to that big list, all right? As you're calling up your friends, your family, your past clients, the people that you've moved into your PCSOI, that's a different group, right? You're making your 5 reach outs per day. When you're calling those people, who are you calling?
Yeah, the people that I know, people in my phone, people that have already done business with me.
And the people are more likely to repeat and refer with you, way more likely than the 10,000. The 10,000 will get you there to the 100 units, but the 500 is more valuable, way more valuable. And that's why we push PCSOI. Build your foundation first, right? We talk about the funnel. This is lower down in the funnel. Build the lower end of the funnel first, this PCSOI in your system. Then add on top of it, if that's not going to generate enough business for you, because right now it's only 50 or 100 people, then go ahead and you got to start building out that next section up, which is the bigger part of the funnel. It's not going to be as productive as a percentage wise, so you need more people in it, but you could still get to the result that you want. Does that help?
Yeah.
So basically you're going to be final line, you're building 2 lists for where you're at, Tristan. I know where you're at. So you want to have that PCSOI, you're building it out, you're spending your focused time on that. That's always the first thing you do every day. The second thing, though, is you're going to start building the funnel at the top, this bigger list of the 10,000. 10,000 sounds like a lot, but it is a lot of people. But if you do things consistently, you can really start to build it up. Boom, 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 because you're going to add people every day. It's a looser configuration. It's a lower bar for them to get into that list. All they have to do to get on that list is you said, hey, I'm in real estate. Hey, are you ever thinking about moving? Hey, is it okay if I stay in touch with you? If you're talking to them, right?
Thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate it.
Sure, Tristan. All right, it was a good question. Good way to end the call today. All right, so that's the end of our production call. Thank you, everybody, for being here. What we'll do is we'll run into a very fast huddle real quick just to get ourselves focused on the day. So the way we do the huddle is we do ask you 2 questions. Number 1, what was the number 1 most important thing you did yesterday to move your business forward? And the second question is, what's the number 1 most important thing you're going to do today to move your business forward? Who would like to start?
I can go here. Yesterday, my number 1 thing was meeting with the partial group of sellers and going over repairs. The key was I was meeting with the person that's doing the repairs, the husband. So he's working on them. And so that was yesterday. And then today, I am meeting in just a little while here with one of my buyers that we are looking for a house for them. And that our subject is not, we're not meeting specifically for that, but that will certainly be one of the topics we discuss. So I have a meeting in a bit.
Good luck on the meeting.
Thank you.
Perfect, Blake. Who else would like to go?
I can share on yesterday. I have 2 prospective sellers that are just right at that point that we've been moving it up the hill and it's ready to get to the peak. Touched base and spoke with both of them yesterday. Really got an objective timeline and further clarified some questions that they had, positioned one with one of our contractors. So yeah, really feeling optimistic about those 2. So I would definitely say yesterday that was the most important thing. Today I'll be actually sitting down with Monica, continuing some of the homework that you have for us from our last call. So Monty and I are committed. We're doing our DISC assessment today. And actually, we're just preparing for a meeting tomorrow is our big focus for today, just on expansion of our business opportunities. So yeah, we're just going to put our head together today and really clarify the points that we want to drive home in this meeting tomorrow.
Awesome, yeah. Steve. Good luck with that. All right, cool. Who else?
Thank you.
Who else would like to share? Number 1 thing yesterday, number 1 thing today.
Number 1 thing yesterday was I made 10 calls to my PCSOI. I had 8 conversations and a couple showings. And then my number 1 thing for today is to, again, make 10 calls to my PCSOI and also to follow up with some leads.
Wow, good job, Tristan. I noticed you bumped up your numbers. It's been 5 a day and now you're at 10 a day.
Just gotta be consistent. I did it yesterday. Now I'm just gonna challenge myself to complete it again today.
Excellent work. Good job, Tristan. Good luck on those calls.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, Angela.
So I last week, I have a new set of metrics where I make 3 reach outs each day. And one of those reach outs ended up yesterday, I connected him with a lender and the lender's working on getting him pre-approved. And then today, doing my 3 reach outs and adding somebody new to my PCSOI.
That is perfect, Angela. Share with us the 3 different metrics.
So it's actually 4. One is to add 1 person to my PCSOI because I told Mike, I said, I have a list of people that have said they want to be on my newsletter or I've met, and I haven't added them to my spreadsheet because it's daunting, to do that. And he said, well, just go with 1 a day. So that's one of the metrics. Reach out to one of my PCSOI each day reach out to a lead each day. So that's somebody that I've already talked to and I'm following up because I have several leads. And then a reach out to a prospect each day. So that's maybe a lead I haven't ever talked to yet to try and keep prospecting to make that conversation.
That's
And
perfect.
it sounds
Angela.
small, but you know, when you have so many moving parts each day, I feel good if I can just hit those. And right now it seems to be working. So
That's fantastic. It's a great point for all of us. Just start where you're at, take a little step in the right direction, and momentum will start to take care of the rest. Tristan, as an example, he had the goal of 5 reach outs a day, and he's been doing that for weeks now, and he's starting to see the fruit of it. Business start to percolate up to the top, and I assume he felt so good about that he went to 10. Is that right, Tristan?
Just gotta keep production increasing because, yeah, like I said, everyone did a deal so far this year, but we're halfway into the second month and that's one each. So to hit the goal, gotta ramp it up. So
That's perfect. All right, everybody. Yesterday I did 17 reach outs, and today I'm going to do 20. Yep. All right. Everybody have a fantastic and productive day. Thank you so much for being here.
bye
bye.
guys. Thank you.
Take care, all.